Let me do a couple things and then we'll start, because bandits don't read, therefore they think that you don't read, so they keep running around with this CDC study that they keep misquoting. They clearly didn't read it. And y'all know it. I know this is not the first live stream I've done on the CDC. Let me check my history, because I briefly, vaguely recall doing a live stream breaking this down already. Like, I genuinely don't know why I'm having to come on here and do this again. But every time we see a discussion between a bandit and really anybody, it could just be anybody, but whenever we see a discussion being made, the CDC always comes up in the discussion. And typically this is basically just a way for bandits to deflect. We already know they run around talking about single mother this, single mother that. The biggest issue in the community is single mothers. But then when you start questioning where are they at and why are they not raising their children, and why, they're not stepping up to the mantle of manhood like they should be doing, then we have more of an issue of, oh, well, Black men are the most active fathers. And you literally, wait, I just had this opened up. You can't have both of them occurring at the same time. You're not going to have a big issue with single mothers incorrectly rearing children and being the reason why, these males are running amok and so on and so forth. You're not going to have that at the same time that you have, you're not going to have that and at the same time have an epidemic of most active fathers in the Black community. So we already know that bandits be lying. And because they like to lie, we're going to go over this just like we went over the Moynihan report. Because if y'all don't remember, bandits were running around talking about the Moynihan report is their Bible, and that the report really proves that Black women put Black men out the home for welfare. Although clearly then welfare would have had to been providing more than you were providing. If welfare would have been a good alternative to a Black man, then clearly the welfare was playing the role of the man way better. Too dumb to recognize that, but still, nonetheless, they run around with these contradictory narratives. And unfortunately, a lot of Black women don't know how to combat this. I've seen it in action where you will have bandits mention the CDC study. And I believe that a lot of Black women are kind of just believing it because bandits are saying it. Just like with the Moynihan report, they're not actually going and reading it. They're taking bandits' word for it. But we already know that bandits have the highest illiteracy rate and therefore also the highest rate of comprehension disability. So we're kind of just going to go over this. Why are you sitting up higher than me? I feel like I'm low.
Oh gosh, are you serious?
Hold on, wait try to see if I sit up.
I'm actually sitting on the pillow.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm just like, why are you doing this? Because it's like, why do I seem like I'm sitting on the floor? And
you're talking.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so let me just share the screen, and obviously I'm not going to read all of the report in its entirety. This is 22 pages. I'm clearly not going to come on here and read all 22 pages of this. No one should even expect it if you think about it. But what I am going to do, I am going to read the most important parts, because we're going to see, did it really say that black fathers are the most active? And I can already tell y'all it did not say that. But then we're going to, after we read this report, we're going to entertain the silly notion that Black men are the most active fathers and what that would mean in the community, because they think that they can have this contradictory narrative. But either way, there's still something wrong with these bandits raising their kids, no matter which way they pitch it, whether they complain about a bunch of single mothers that they created, or whether they say that the CDC said that Black men are the most active fathers, which it did not. No matter what they say, it's still going to illustrate a problem. Oh, I think that's the ice maker. Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, maybe that's my ice maker just dumping ice into the thing. That's probably what I heard. But regardless to what they say, there's still an issue. And so we're going to talk about that as well. And then we're going to go into this video from out of Chicago. It's talking about the crimes being committed against Black women, not necessarily femicide, but I put it under femicide because there is femicide in it. And that was the best word to sum all of it up. So anyway, I recognize that it's talking about more than just a femicide issue. But so as you guys see up here on the screen, I have the National Health Statistics Report, and this is from the CDC. As you can see down here, it says the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, National Center for Health Statistics. And the reason why I'm going over that is so you will see that this is indeed the CDC study that Bandits didn't even read, but they keep quoting. They really don't even know what the study say because they only read a headline and a title. They absolutely didn't read the study. But I wanted to make sure you see that this is indeed the CDC study. Now, they came out and published this on December 20th, 2013. That was 10 years ago because it is 2023. So you would obviously not be quoting this data anyway because it would be considered outdated. The information was gathered from between 2006 to 2010. So this was over a 4-year period. But again, it would be considered outdated. You would just update. And you would include Becky's. See, I already got a question about this study. When this study was done and it say Black fathers are the most active, we're going to kind of go through this to see if it including Becky's kids too, because I just kind of feel like it probably ain't. And then it's also saying, because I read over some of this before, this does not include men who have multiple children by multiple women, okay? Wow. It does not include those. So already it's biased, or already it's not reliable.
Yeah, it's excluding a large population of people.
Well, and I want to go down here and show you the graphs that they have, because this is really important to see with these graphs on here. There's a number of these graphs where under it says that it does not meet the reliability and it doesn't meet the standards that it needs to. I was looking at this on my phone, and under each of them, it said on some of these graphs, I gotta go find it, because on some of these graphs it said that it doesn't meet the standards that it needs to for reliability and precision.
Well, I mean, that, and also we can just look at the reality of the society that we live in.
It's these tables here. I have to find the tables. And you can look at the caveats under here where it says, no, due to men living with children reporting don't know or refuse for a specific activity. Table 5 is based on 1,788 men, and table 7 and 9 are based on 2,090 men. So you're already seeing this is not based off a high portion of people. It's just not. But the objective says the report measures fathers' involvement with their children. Father involvement is measured by how often a man participated in a set of activities in the last 4 weeks with children who are living with him and with children who are living apart from him. Involvement is measured separately for children aged 0 to 4 years and children aged 5 to 18 years. Increased involvement of fathers in their children's life has been associated with a range of positive outcomes for the children. Now, I want you guys to focus specifically on this part because it says increased involvement of fathers in their child's life has been associated with a range of positive outcomes for children. So the reverse of that would be a lack of involvement of fathers in children's life has been associated with a range of negative outcomes for children. And so when they want to sit here and have this single mother discussion and say, oh, single mother, children raised in single mother homes are more likely to go to prison, what they're trying to do is blame the mother for the effects of the father's absence and what it's causing. And that's why you need to look at certain things where it says the involvement is associated with a range of positive outcomes, because then you have to think, okay, well, what if that father is not there? Then obviously it's going to produce negative outcomes, obviously. So the method said the analyses presented in this report are based on a nationally representative sample of 10,403 men aged 15 to 44. So again, another age range group that they're not including in here. So I don't know how this could be nationally representative, but by nationally representative, I take that to mean different races of men, meaning white, Hispanic, Asian, Black. That's what they mean. It represents different groups of men, but this is a very small percentage. You couldn't take 10,403 men, and it's actually not even 10,403 men. It's actually 2,091. The data was actually collected from 2,091 men. That's what the conclusion was based on, and they're going to say it in here. But you couldn't have 10,403 men. You're not even listing how many of them are in each racial group, and say that this is a nationally representative. What they mean is representative of the different races of men. That's all it means, not in terms of millions of populations. It just 10,000 would just never represent millions of people. It wouldn't. But anyway, it says men aged 15 to 44 years in the household population of the United States. And actually, this age range is why this study, and I'm going to go and show you guys later why they're going to deem it unreliable, is because of the fact that it's only from 15 to 44. So it cuts out a whole entire age group out of here. But it says the father involvement measures are based on 2,200 fathers and children under age 5. This right here is very important right here, because this is the very small population from which they based their results. So the father involvement measures, meaning what they're basing this study on, are based on 2,200 fathers of children age 5, 1,790 who live with their children, and 410 who live apart from their children, and on 3,166 fathers of children aged 5 to 18, 2,091 who live with their children, and 1,075 who live apart from their children. So if you take 3,166 and add 2,220 to it, you have 5,366 people. So that's what they based this study on. This conclusion is based off 5,366 people. That is not enough to represent the millions of fathers. I don't care what race they do. Even if they were just making this exclusive to Black men, 5,366 men would not be enough to represent the millions of Black fathers. So you could actually throw the study and its validity away based on this right here. But it says results. Statistics are presented on the frequency with which fathers took part in a set of age-specific activities in their children's lives. Differences in percentage distributions are found by whether the father lived with or apart from his children, and by his demographic characteristics, meaning race, education, employment, where you live, things like that. In general, fathers living with their children participated in their children's life to a greater degree than fathers who lived apart from their children, which obviously, if a father lived at home, obviously he's going to participate more than a father who doesn't. That's common sense right there. Differences in fathers' involvement with their children were also found by the father's age, marital or cohabitating status, education, and Hispanic origin and race. So let's get into it. It says fathers' involvement in their children's life have been shown to have a positive effect on children and their well-being in many areas. One, for example, on increasing the chances of academic success. 2 and 3, and in reducing the chances of delinquency and substance abuse. 4 to 6, a literature review found that children whose fathers assumed 40% or more of the family's care task had better academic achievements than children whose fathers were less involved. So all of you married single mothers would not be included as having an active father. I do want to point that out, because there's way too many women coming out talking about how they're doing everything by themselves. So clearly right there, just because you are married, even though the study says the ones who are married are obviously more likely to be involved in their children's lives. And obviously you would make that assumption because they're in the home with their children. However, based on the amount of Black women that keep coming out, putting these TikTok videos out saying they doing everything like a single woman, clearly that ain't y'all's situation. I want y'all to know that. I don't want nobody to be confused about y'all's situation, because that wouldn't be your situation. But 40% or more of the family's care tasks had better academic achievement than children whose fathers were less involved. In recent decades, fathers who live with their children have become more involved in their children's life than in previous generation. Although fewer fathers now live with their children because of an increase in non-marital childbearing, the impact of non-marital childbearing on the presence of fathers is moderate, meaning you got a bunch of dusty bandits who think that because they're not married to the mother, then they don't have to be involved with the child. And that is a problem with him, because you should still be raising your children. Does not matter at all, not even a little bit. Whether you're with the mother, you should still be parenting your child. But this is just telling you how janky they are. Basically, if they ain't in a relationship with the mom, they're going to ignore the children. However, by increases in the proportion of children being born into cohabitating unions, for example, Martinez et al., see table 12 in reference, found that 23% of recent birth, those occurring in the 5 years before the interview, to women aged 15 and 44 in 2006 to 2010, occurred within cohabitating unions, a significant increase from births to women aged 15 to 44 in 2002. Using a national sample of fathers aged 15 to 44, this report documents how much fathers are involved with their children, both children with whom they live and children whom they live apart from. This does not include fathers who have multiple children by multiple women, which we know a lot of Black men do. From 1973, when the National Center for Health Statistics first conducted the National Survey of Family Growth, to 1995, NSFG measured changes in the factors related to birth and pregnancy rates and family formation and dissolution by interviewing national sample of the women aged 15 through 44. I also want to say this, self-reported surveys are the most unreliable form of data to be collected. And if anybody is in the data collection field, or if you are a statistician, or if you are a psychologist, or engaged in any field that requires you to look over data and statistics, you would then know that self-reporting surveys are one of the most unreliable forms of unreliable research method forms ever to have. It's for obvious reasons, because people can and do lie. That's why self-reporting is the most unreliable, because people lie. But it says, collecting information on father involvement was a major reason for including men in the 2002 and 2006 to 2010 NSFG, due to, as noted above, a growing body of research showing a positive association between the presence and involvement of fathers and outcomes for their children. Now, a lot of this I'm not going to read, because this is just about the president and stuff that they did and history on it. But we're going to go over the methods. Source of data. It says this report is based on the 2006-2010 NSFG, which was jointly planned and funded by NCHS and several other programs of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Data were collected from 12,279 interviews with women and 10,403 men aged 15 to 44, conducted from June 2006 through June 2010. This report is mainly limited to the data. This is the most important thing you need to understand. This report is mainly limited to the data collected from the sample of 3,928 men who are fathers. So you have a report here that's basing its findings off of less than 400 fathers in general, and they're not telling you how many of them are broken down into race. Okay, so we're dealing with a size of less than 400 men. This cannot be representative or generalized to the overall public of fathers. One of the reasons is you need more people. You don't get to have a report that you collected data from less than 4,000 men and then try to say that it represents Black fathers. Absolutely no. Interviews were voluntary. Participants were provided information about the survey before being asked for signed informed consent. The survey was reviewed and approved by the NCHS and the University of Michigan Institute Review Board. The overall response rate in 2006 to 2010 was 77. The response rate for women was 78, and for men, it was 75. To protect the respondents' privacy, only one person was interviewed in each selected household. Further information about the NSFG sample design, sampling and sampling errors, interviewing, and data process is available elsewhere. Statistical analysis. This report represents basic descriptive statistics on father involvement with children living with and living apart from them in the United States. It does not attempt to demonstrate cause and effect relationships. Statistics for this report were produced using SAS software. Y'all don't know what that is. Some of y'all might, but most of y'all probably won't. All estimates from 2006 to 2010 in this report were weighed to reflect approximately 62 million men aged 15 to 44. It can't. A sample group, information from less than 4,000 people cannot represent 60 million men. Absolutely not. Where? Like this wouldn't even... Like, you wouldn't take 4,000 people and say this represents 62 million men. Yeah, you can try to say it was weighted to reflect it, but it's not going to reflect it. But anyway, age 15 to 44 in the household population of the United States at the midpoint of interviewing, June 2008. Men aged 15 to 44 living on military bases or in institutions were not included in the survey. Statistically significant differences between percentages were assessed using two-tailed tests at the 5% level. No adjustments were made for multiple comparisons. Terms such as greater than and less than indicate that a statistically significant difference was found. Lack of comment regarding the difference between any two statistics does not mean that the difference was tested and found not to be significant. In the description of the results below, which we're going to get to them in a minute, when the percentage being cited is below 10% or above 90, the text cites the percentage to 1 decimal point to make reading easier and to remind the reader that the results are based on samples and subject to sampling error. Percentages between 10 and 90% are generally shown rounded to the nearest whole percentage. Okay, so we already know that. Fathers and measure the father involvement. Not all men are biological fathers, and not all fathers have biological children. In addition to fathering a child, men may become fathers through adoption, which confers the same legal statutes, protections, and responsibilities to the man and the child as fathering a biological child. Men also may become de facto fathers when they marry or cohabitate with women who have children from previous relationships. That is, they are raising stepchildren or their cohabitating partners' children. Now, I think this is what that bandit was trying to sit up there and suggest, that men are raising kids who are not there because women done pinned babies on them. No, a lot of y'all are de facto stepfathers because you're dating women with kids. Nobody is pinning babies on you at that rate. You need to cut it out. You ain't even raising your own kid. So ain't nobody gonna think they can just pin a baby on you that ain't even yours and you ain't even raising your own. That's silly to even think that. In this report, men were defined as fathers if they had biological or adopted children, or if step or parents' children were living in the household. So even though these children are not these men, they're basically saying if the man lived in a household with these children, they assumed that they were theirs, and you can't base no report on this. Absolutely not. The percentage of men raising step or adopted children who did not also have biological children was very small, 0.2%. In 2006 to 2010, 44.8% of men aged 15 to 44 had ever had a biological child. This right here is dismantling that notion when Black men say over 50% of them don't have children and are single. Use a lie, because the same report you using to pretend that you're the most active fathers is literally saying you had these men, 48.4% of them aged 15 to 44 have a biological child. So it is what it is. And 45% of men aged 15 to 44, 28 million of the 62 million men aged 15 to 44 were living with biological, adopted, step or partners' children, or had adopted or biological children living elsewhere. Fathers were divided into two categories based on their co-residence with their children aged 18 years and under. Co-residential minor children were children with whom a man lived and included step or step-parent children who were living in the household, as well as his own biological and adopted children. Non-co-residential minor children consisted of a man's biological or adopted children who lived apart from him. Some fathers had both co-residential and non-co-residential children, meaning children that live with them and children do not, about 10%. Identical questions about specific activities were asked for both co-residential and non-co-residential children. Analyses were restricted to activities in which the man participated with the children within the 4 weeks preceding interview. So this is going over some, these are going over some of the tables that you haven't seen yet. It says results for categories of men based on the small sample sizes are those with large SEs, as shown in the detailed tables, should be interpreted cautiously. Research has shown a number of factors that affect the extent to which fathers are involved in their children's life. This report examines 5 of these factors: whether he lives with the children, his current age, marital or cohabitation status, Hispanic origin, race, and education. So it's not even examining whether he has multiple children with multiple women. You said, please read the second to large paragraph on page 3. Which one is that? Because I'm on page 3. Because I've already, I already read this entire thing. Oh, no, I didn't read this one. Okay, let me read this one. But I got to come over here to start. No, I did read this. I think I already read it, Themis. The second to last paragraph on page 3. I think I already did it. Results for categories of men based on small sample sizes or those with large SEs, as shown in the detailed table, should be interpreted cautiously. Research has shown a number of factors that affect the extent to which fathers are involved in their children's lives. The report examines 5 of these factors: whether he lives with the children, his current age, marital or cohabitation status, Hispanic origin, and race and education. So I think this, yeah, exactly. It's the part where you're saying they should be interpreted cautiously, and they should be, but they're actually going to go in here and talk about why this study is not as solid as it should be. So the activities that they asked were eating meals or feeding children, bathing, diapering or dressing the children, or helping the children to bathe, dress, or use the toilet themselves, playing with the children, reading to the children. For children aged 5 to 18, activities include talking with the children about things that happened during their day, eating meals with the children, helping the children with homework or checking that the homework had been done, taking the children to or from activities. Men were asked how frequently they did each activity in the last 4 weeks. They were given a show card. And so this is self-reporting. I want you guys to know that this is self-reporting. You can look on YouTube to see how this would have panned out. If you ask the average absentee bandit who ain't taking care of his kids, he gonna say he taking care of his kid. Like, please. Bandits are saying this report said they stay in the home the most. They the most active fathers, when in reality it did not. So we know when it comes to self-reporting, bandits are just gonna lie and rewrite history. It just is what it is. And I'm pretty sure they lied on this just like they lie every day. Men were asked how frequently they did each activity in the last 4 weeks. They were given a show card and asked to select one of the following responses: not at all, less than 1 week, about a week, several times a week, every day. Because of the relatively small number of the fathers who engaged in some activities less than once a week and about once a week, these categories are combined. So they're combining two categories because of the small amount of them who responded to those two categories. Using a 5-point scale, fathers also were asked to rate how good a job they thought they were doing as a father overall with all of their co-residential children and with all of their non-co-residential. How do you think they said they were doing? This is up to their opinion. This says they were asked how they thought they were doing as a father overall with all of their co-residential and with all of their non-co-residential children. I want to know how did they control for men who are lying? Because you have to have a way to authenticate the responses here. If you don't have a way to authenticate the responses here, then you don't have a valid study. So how did they control for bandits who sit up here and lie, don't raise their kids and say they do, or because they pay their child support that they're forced to pay, they feel like they're actually being an active father? I want to know how they controlled for lying. Anyway, children aged 0 to 18 response options were a very good job, a good job, an okay job, not a very good job, and a bad job. The later two categories are combined in this report, of course. Of course, because most of them rated themselves better. So very few of them said they weren't doing a very good job or a bad job. If they're combining the last two results, it's because they got very few responses. So a lot of them lied and rated themselves way better than they should have been rating themselves. Men were classified by several demographic categories: Hispanic origin and race, current age, marital or cohabitation status, and education. Hispanic origin and race were tabulated in accordance with 1997 guidelines from the Office of Office Management and Budget. Estimates for Hispanic men, regardless of their race, are shown separately from non-Hispanic men. For non-Hispanic men, estimates are presented for single race, white and black men. Because of small sample sizes, of course, estimates for men of other racial groups are not shown separately. Education is shown for men aged 22 to 44. Hold on. Onyx, can you take over and read? I need to cough and drink.
Where are you?
I'm right here where it says estimates for Hispanic men.
Estimates for Hispanic men, regardless of their race, are shown separately from non-Hispanic men, regardless of their race, are shown separate. Okay, I just read that twice. For non-Hispanic men, estimates are presented for single race, white and black men. Because of a small sample size, estimates for men of other racial groups are not shown separately. Education is shown for men aged 22 through 44 because men aged 15 to 21 may have not completed their education at the time of the interview. Details of these variables can be found in the previous NSFG reports 32 through 33 results. You have to scroll down a bit more.
Okay, I got it now. Thank you. And the reason I'm reading all of this, I wouldn't necessarily read all of this, but we know bandits will sit up and say, and so will some black women, oh, you didn't read the whole thing for context. Oh, but you taking it out of context. But you got to read. You don't have to read the whole thing to get, you don't. It doesn't matter whether I read all this or not. The results are going to be the same. They are not going to change. So I don't need to read the full report for context, but I'm trying to cater to those who are cerebrally challenged and remedial, because that's for their brains to function. They need to read the whole entire report to understand the results. I don't, but I'm just doing this to cater to stupid people. But anyway, it says results: fatherhood among men aged 15 to 44. Can we please emphasize that this is a certain age group? This is a certain age group. This is the stuff that bandits don't comprehend. When something is applying to a certain age group of people, you don't get to say that the report said that Black men in general are the most active fathers. It did not. It is actually talking about the less than 4,000 men who answered this self-survey interview and rated themselves on their fatherhood, who were between the ages of 15 and 44, by the way. So this is a very specific group of men. In 2016 to 2010, about 38%, 23.5 million, absolutely not, of men aged 15 to 44 were living with one or more children, and about 12%, 7.5 million, were living apart from one or more of their biological or adopted children. Note that these categories are not mutually exclusive. Approximately 5% of men had children with whom they lived and children from whom they lived apart. These fathers are included in both panels. Table 1, Figure 1 shows. Where do they go back to? So you guys can see the tables here. Where? Oh, shows the common. Another category is sometimes, no. Where does this part pick up at? Oh, okay. It shows the percentage distribution, and table B shows the number of and percentage of fathers who have only co-residential children, only non-co-residential children, or both co-residential and non-residential children. So I guess right there, that would imply, because if you have non-co-residential children, that right there would imply that the mother is probably another woman. But I don't know whether they did this by one other woman, two other women. We know there's some bandits who got 6, 7, 8 different baby mamas. So I don't think that this is including, I think this may be including them having one other mother when they say non-co-residential children, because then that means those children have to be living with another parent. So right there, I would say maybe they measured them who has one baby mama, but you ain't going up to 5, 6, 7. You absolutely not. You're not. So in order for this to be valid, I think they would actually have to do one on Black men, aside from other races of men, because Black men are the ones who have the most children by different women. I would like to receive a report where they're only doing it on Black men. But anyway, across most characteristics in table 1, higher percentage of men aged 15 to 44 were living with their children than living apart from their children, but the magnitude of the difference varied by characteristic. For example, about twice as many men aged 15 to 24 had co-residential children than had non-co-residential children, as it should be. If you between the age of the 15 to 24, you should not have children by multiple different women. You shouldn't. Why? Why would you, if you are between the age of the 15 and 24, why would you have multiple children by multiple women? You should not. You should not have co-residential and non-co-residential children. So I would expect for it to say about twice as many men aged 15 to 24 had co-residential children than non-co-residential children. Obviously, this is how it should be. By ages 35 to 44, 3 times as many men had co-residential children than non-co-residential children. Looking at the marital and cohabitating status, 6 times as many currently married men had co-residential children than had non-co-residential children. Obviously, this would be the case. We should not see a high rate of married men having non-co-residential children, because then that would mean that they're having them outside of their marriage. If you didn't come into that marriage with a bunch of non-co-residential children, and then you somehow have them, then you having them within your marriage. So we should only see a low amount of these people when they're married. We should only see that. Among currently cohabitating men, almost 3 times as many had co-residential children than had non-co-residential children. As expected of the characteristics shown in table 1, only among men who were neither married nor cohabitating was the percentage of men who had non-co-residential children. My guess would be that would be your Black group. Most of those men would be Black men because Black men get married the least. So if you have a situation where you have among men who are neither married nor cohabitating, with the percentage of men who had non-co-residential children, most of those will be Black. Most of them would have to be Black. Higher than the percentage of men who had co-residential children. More than twice as many men aged 22 to 44 with a high school diploma or less education had co-residential children, compared with non-co-residential children. Looking at men with some college or more education, 5 times as many had co-residential children than non-co-residential children. These are things that we should expect. Non-Hispanic white men aged 15 to 44 have the largest difference between those with co-residential children, 37%, and those with non-co-residential children. The difference was the smallest among non-Hispanic Black men, with 33% having co-residential children and 24% having non-co-residential children. That means the amount of Black men who have children who live in multiple homes is almost the same. As you see, there's not a big difference between the Black men who have children living in the home with them. That's what that means. We'll highlight this part. It says the difference was the smallest among non-Hispanic Black men, with 33% having co-residential children and 24% having non-co-residential children. That means there is a 9% difference there. Okay. So bandits can run around here and try to pretend that there's a big difference in the group of men who have multiple children and multiple women versus those who do not. But according to this data, no, it says there's not a big difference in terms of the amount of Black men who have children with multiple women and children who don't. Because if you have non-co-residential children, you have another woman, you have another parent over here who the woman who's taking care of that child that does not live with you. That means these bandits who have at least 2 baby mamas are nearly the same in percentage wise as the ones who have 1 and live with a woman. That's what that means. Okay. Among Hispanic men, more than twice as many had co-residential children, 44% than non-co-residential children. That means Hispanic men have a lower rate of having a bunch of baby mamas than Black men do. Because if you got kids living outside your home and kids living inside your home, then that implies that you have children with more than 1 woman. You have children with more than 1. That's what that means. Among Hispanic, I already read that. The following discussion describes and compares men's involvement with their children by examining the percentage of fathers aged 15 to 44 or age 22 to 44 when comparing percentages between educational attainment groups who participate in a variety of activities in the last 4 weeks with their children. Emphasis is given to comparing the categories every day and not at all, although for a few measures where the responses are less common, another category is sometimes cited. In general, as expected, and that's under involvement in activities with children under age 5 years. In general, and as expected, a higher percentage of fathers aged 15 to 44 who live with their children under age 5 participated in activities with their children more frequently than fathers who lived apart from their children. Similarly, fathers with non-co-residential children were more likely to not have done the activity at all in the last 4 weeks compared with fathers with co-residential children. What does that mean? That means if you go down here and look at the fact that these bandits are the most likely to have non-co-residential and co-residential children, they are only being active fathers to the ones that they live with. They are neglecting the ones that they don't. That's what this means. And bandits want to sit up here and tell you that this says that they're the most active fathers. It may say that, but it says a whole lot more too. It says that you were only being active with the children that live with you.
And how can
if the kids don't live with you, you're not being active with them.
And how can you not be active with someone who lives with you? Like, you really got to do a lot to ignore a child that lives with you.
No, they're saying that the only children that they're being active with is the ones that live with them. They said that Fathers with non-co-residential children, which means children that do not live with them, were more likely to not have done the activity at all in the last 4 weeks compared with fathers with co-residential children. So meaning the only Black men who are actively with some of these activities they're doing it with the kids who live with them. If the kids don't live with them, they're not active in their life. That's what that means.
Right.
Huh?
I said right, but what I'm saying is how difficult would it be for them not to? And even especially if you look at what a household looks like, kids go to school, you would literally have to neglect the child in your home to not engage in those activities.
Yep. But for the people in the chat box, because Reese said my dad lived with me and wasn't active. Sugar Honey said, well, my father ignored me at home. Well, this is self-reporting. So a lot of these bandits have sat up here and lied. and that's because they had no reason not to. So a lot of these men, if they're not controlling for men who are lying and they have no way to find out or confirm whether or not these men are actually doing what they're reporting to do, then you have to throw the whole study away. You don't have a way to ensure that this information that you received is accurate. So it says let me see something though. I want to see something. What's table B? There was supposed to be a table B over here that it didn't take us to. Table figure 1. So this says includes men of other ethnicities, race not shown, men who live with their children, also may have children that do not live with currently. They are included in both categories. So they did say that the men who live with their children and may have children they do not live with currently, they are included in both categories. And we saw it because they talked about men with non-co-residential children, which means you got children outside your household. Let me go back to the results of this. So they are covering it to an extent, but I want y'all to look at what this says here. And nearly every graph says this. It says figure does not meet standards of reliability or precision. And so it's like you have to read this when you have reports like this. If it has a caveat down here and it says the figure does not meet the standards of reliability or precision, then you need to just disregard it. It doesn't meet the standards of being reliable, therefore you cannot consider it. It's not reliable. And bandits want to run around and say that this, literally a report that's telling you that their own figures does not meet the standards of reliability or precision. They want you to take this and say, even though we haven't even heard it say this yet, they want you to take this and say, oh, well, that they concluded that Black men are the most active fathers. We literally have not saw that in here yet. But they are telling you that you need to proceed with caution on reading some of these. And on other one of these, they're saying the figure does not meet the standards of reliability or precision. I want to blow this up a little bit just so I can show y'all. Because I want y'all to see down here where I just blew it up, where it says the little star figure does not meet standards of reliability or precision. You see that down here, Onyx?
Yeah.
I highlighted it in blue.
Yeah, I see it.
Where it says the figure does not meet standards of reliability or precision. So then you can't take this as reliable data then, because it doesn't even meet the standards of reliability. And that's one thing that you need to have when you have data. Your data needs to meet the standards of reliability. This one does not. So bandits can get out my face. And this one says the same thing. This is another table. Figure does not meet standards of reliability or precision. You go down here, another table, figure does not meet the standards of reliability or precision. You go down to this one, figure does not meet standards of reliability or precision. These graphs, i.e. this study, does not meet the standards of reliability. That means it is not a reliable piece of data for you to be running around quoting. It doesn't even meet the standards for it. Another figure does not meet the standards for reliability and precision. Another one, figure does not meet the standards of reliability and precision. Every single one of their graphs, they're saying it doesn't meet the standards of reliability or precision. You go down here, another one, does not meet the standards of reliability or precision. Does not meet the standards under every single graph. Every single graph, it said that doesn't meet the standards of reliability. And then it ends it. But let's go back to the results and see if it said what bandits are saying that it's saying, because it's not. And even if it did say it, it's telling you they're not reliable.
Right.
Where was I at? Let me go down to their conclusion, because we don't have time to go over all this. Conclusion. The goal of this report is to document the extent of father involvement in their children's life using the sample of 3,298 fathers aged 15 to 44. Like, this is the reason this is laughable is because they're telling you that this report is based on a sample of 3,928 fathers from the age of the 15 to 44 between the dates of 2006 and 2010. This could not represent fathers. It couldn't. There's no possible way it could. Anyway, while other surveys have collected data on father involvement in recent sample decades, the NSFG sample is large, recent, and nationally representative. I told y'all nationally representative means they have different races, okay? It also has multiple indicators of father involvement for both fathers who live with their children and fathers who don't. Now, this report is limited to 4 measures of father involvement for children under age 5 to 4 measures of involvement for children aged 5 to 18 years. Identical measures were compared for fathers aged 15 to 44 who lived with and who lived apart from their children. Parental involvement is complex and multidimensional. The measures selected for the survey and examined here were chosen because previous research has found them to be related to positive outcomes for children. They said this whole thing in the introduction. Multiple indicators are shown because no one indicator is the key father involvement activity that benefits all children more than others. Some of the findings shown here are worth reiterating, as there was variation in father involvement by activity. For example, for children under age 5, the study found that 96% of resident fathers ate meals with their children, according to what they said, every day or several times a week. 98% played with their children that often. 90% bathed, diapered, or dressed their children every day or several times a week. And 60% read to their children that often. For the fathers who did not live with their children, 30% ate meals with them every day or several times a week. There's no way you got children inside and outside of the home and you're eating meals with both of them every day. That's not happening. You can't be in 2 homes at one time. 39% played with their children several times a week. 31% bathed, diapered, or dressed their children several times a week or more. Variation in the frequency of doing that. I'm still waiting for the part where they say bandits are the most involved fathers. That's what I'm trying to read up to, y'all. I'm just trying. I don't see it yet. I know it has to be somewhere in here, but I don't see it. Variation, and I think I pointed that out the first time I read over this study, but here we are years later doing it again, because bandits are still remedial liars who are using a report that they obviously didn't read to try to say they're active fathers. Variation in the frequency of doing activities also was evident among fathers with school-age children, age 5 to 18. For fathers who live with these children, 93% ate meals. 92% talk with these children about things that happened during their day. This compares with 63% of fathers who helped with or checked homework and 55% of fathers who took those children to and from school. This variation in involvement by activity is one of the, where does it just say that the bandits are the most active fathers?
You know, there's a sound clip by Oprah that I think that they're quoting, because I've watched it and she said as well.
Let me ask Steve this. Do he know? Because I don't see it.
I just think
And we don't went over nearly the whole report. I don't see where they say it at. After this is the references.
I don't even need them to say it though, because it's a clear deviation from reality. So I don't even
very clearly. But let's still just try to read over it so they can be like, see, she skipped over it. She skipped over the point and she wasn't reading all the part and then said it didn't. Okay, so we got to read every single word of the report, even the references, right? Like, so remedial. This variability in involvement by activity is one of the reasons to examine all of the measures available in the NSFG rather than the only ones reported here. Additional research with NSFG could focus on some of the measures of father involvement not included in this report. See introduction, including involvement in the last 12 months and correlates of involvement such as work hours and schedules and the payment of child support. The 2006-2010 NSFG data has several limitations in examining father involvement. First, only men aged 15 to 44 were included in the survey, limiting what can be said about involvement with their children by fathers age 45 or over. Involvement may differ among these fathers compared with fathers age 15 to 44, but this report found very few differences by age in the level of involvement in activities. The difference by age that were found suggested older fathers may be less involved than fathers aged 15 to 44 in their children's life, especially fathers with non-co-residential children aged 0 to 4. A second limitation is that the father involvement questions were not asked for a specific focal child. If fathers have more than one co-residential or non-co-residential child in any age range, it is not clear then how these fathers responded if they had different levels of involvement with different children. For example, if a man lived with a 6-month-old baby and a 3-year-old child, and he spent more time with the child than with the baby, it is not possible to know whether he averaged the time he spent with each child or answered questions in regards to just one. He also may have 4, 5, 6, 7 different baby mamas, and it don't account for this either. They didn't put this in here, but this is a great point. You don't know which child he's talking about. If he has one that he lives with and not one that he lives with outside the home, you know he ain't calculating or measuring the difference amount of time that he's spending between those children. So that is a flaw. Look, another limitation of the 2016-2010 NSFG was the relatively small number of measures across dimensions of father involvement. In response to these limitations, NSFG, which began interviewing in September 2011, was redesigned to include multiple measures of more dimensions of father involvement and to ask questions about a specific focal child within the residence category. In this redesigned survey, the youngest co-residential and the youngest non-co-residential children are selected as the focal children when father or age asks how often they engage in the father involvement activities. The redesign and the addition of multiple questions will allow researchers to examine father involvement in more depth than was possible here. I don't see anywhere here. Okay, maybe this is what they're talking about. No, this is talking about Black men having multiple kids in comparison to Hispanic men. So that's not saying that. Where are they? Somebody get abandoned online too. Please somebody get abandoned online so we can ask where in this report does it say they're the most active fathers. I don't see it in here.
I can't believe you say abandoned online.
I don't. This is giving how fathers ate meals. So they're telling you different categories. I'm not seeing Black men are the most active fathers.
Look, do you want to send it to me in an email?
Yeah, let me send it to you in an email and then you can kind of.
I know, I'm going to put it in one of these AIs and ask it to cite where it says this. And maybe.
Oh, okay. Actually.
Yeah, toss in one of those AI generators and ask it where in this document it can summarize it for you. Because I ain't got time to go through line for line. I mean, I do have the time, to be honest. I just don't like the idea of going through a document when I can see in reality in every aspect that this is not what's happening. So that's all it is for me.
Okay, well, hold on. What happened to my chat GTP? Let me ask it.
Well, you have to be on, yeah, but you have to actually put the document in there, I think. Chat GPT doesn't go through
No, I want to ask you to find me,
You have
find a source that says Black men are the most active fathers.
You won't find
And,
that.
and it should quote the CDC. We're going to see.
It's not going to do that because Chat GPT only, it only goes back to 2001, I believe. So there are other programs that you can upload the document and ask it to summarize, and other AIs.
Yeah, because I don't see on here where it says that bandits are the most, like I don't see where it says that at in this report.
Yeah, you'd have to copy it and paste it into Chat GPT.
Yeah, let me actually pull it up and I'm gonna see something. I know you can type into it and it will find certain terms.
Yeah, if you copy the whole document and put it into ChatGPT, and ask it specifically to outline where that statement is, it will tell you.
Oh, okay. So Themis found it, and it says a greater percentage of Black fathers when compared with white and Hispanic fathers fed or ate meals with children daily, bathed, diapered, or dressed children daily, played with their children. So where in this do you find Black men are the most active fathers?
See, I interpret that, and it might be, my own perspective, but this is the guys who don't have jobs and are at home because kids go to school. So at most of the time they're in school. So in order for them to be the most active, that means they're the guys that are staying at home and don't have a job and not being the man of the household in that regard. That's what I would say to that. They're the ones that are not working.
Yeah, let me because I don't see how Black men are concluding this, but let me search within this and see if I can find most active fathers, because I don't see it in here.
Nina M said because there are most of white. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's the reality. That's how I interpreted that.
Because we went through the statistical analysis, we went through the methods, father involvement measures.
You want to go find out where you missed it?
Yeah, I want to see where I missed it at. Because I feel like I read these top, well, did I read each individual?
You really are going to go through with the
Maybe it says that at the end of each one of them. Let's see how often they fed or ate their kids.
Fed or ate. You said fed or ate their kids.
Oh, how often fathers fed or ate meals with their children. Let me look at the bottom of that one and see if it say Black men do it more. Higher percentage of older fathers. Okay, last week's 4 significantly more than Blacks or white fathers. Higher percentage of older fathers, 44% of those aged 25 to 34 and 60% of those aged 35 to 44 had not eaten a meal or fed their children or fed their non-co-residential children in the last 4 weeks, compared with 25% of the fathers aged 54. More than one half of fathers, Hispanic fathers, significantly more than Black. There was a significant difference by origin and race among fathers with co-residential children. Black fathers were more likely to have bathed, dressed, diapers, or helped their children use the toilet every day compared with white and Hispanic fathers. Some different. Okay.
So those are the guys who are at home.
Huh? These are the ones who are at home. The ones who are
also are not working. Let's just be real.
There was a significant difference by Hispanic origin and race among fathers with co-residential children. So the ones who live in a house, with them, the Black fathers were more likely to have bathed, dressed, diapered, and helped use the toilet every day compared with 60% white and Hispanic fathers. So if the Black man is living in the home with his children, if he is living in the home with his children, if I'm gonna say it again, if he is living in the home with his children, he is more likely to be doing these things than any other race of men. The report does not say that you are the most active. It says when you are dealing with your children that you live with, which we know most of you do not. When you are in the home, most of y'all ain't in the home. According to y'all, mind you. So you don't need to say according to the CDC. You need to say according to Black men responding to the CDC's questions. Black men are, when they're in the home, and only when they're in the home with their children, they're more likely to be active with them, according to what Black men are saying. And even with this being according to Black men, y'all notice the amount was 70%. So I guess 30% of them told the truth, I guess. But yeah, no, this is not saying what y'all think that it's saying. It's just saying that when you're in the home, according to you, you're doing all this stuff. But you're really not in the reality, though. But I'm willing to let Black men have this notion that they're the most involved fathers. What I need to know is, if you're the most involved fathers, why are you always talking about single mothers?
And also, why is it that Black youth are the ones who are, the highest percentage represented in school delinquency, school to prison pipeline, illiteracy, et cetera, like it doesn't look good either way. So it's like your influence isn't, the outcomes aren't great, contrary to what they say.
Well, my thing of it is that, because it's just like when me and you were talking about it, whenever we have a discussion about what's going on in the community, Black men immediately list single mothers, which means they acknowledge that they are not in the home. If your first inclination is to say that we have a single mother issue, then you're acknowledging you ain't in no damn home. And you're not in the home to such a large rate that it doesn't even come to your mind that you might be in the home. And if that were the case, then you would be mentioning the fact that you're not in the home. If we have an epidemic of single mothers, it is because we have an epidemic of absentee fathers. You cannot have single mothers and active fathers, the most involved fathers, existing in the same place, because then you don't have a single mother. You have co-parents who are cohabitating, which the study talked about cohabitating couples as well, because cohabitating couples yield the same results as married couples. I don't know if y'all know that or not. But when a child is living in the home with cohabitating parents who are not married, it yields and produces the same results as married couples. I know married couples ain't ready to hear the truth of that, because then you can't run around and say marriage. But the data says a cohabitating parent household in which the children are living with both of their non-married cohabitating parents, it yields the same results as you being married, because the marriage is just a piece of paper. It's about the presence of the father and the mother. Now, obviously, the man is more likely to be in the home if he is married. That is what the other data said. And of course, well, you should be living in the home with your wife if you married. However, you don't need to. So all of y'all running around here talking about building this big, strong families through marriage. No, you don't need to be married. You just need to, at the very least, be cohabitating and raising your children together. It will yield the same outcomes as you getting married. It just is what it is, because you got two parents not being dysfunctional, raising their children together. But this report did not say that Black men are the most active fathers. It said that when Black men live in the homes with their children, then they are the most active fathers. But we already know most Black men don't live in a home with their kids. So how are y'all the most active and you ain't even in the house with your kids? And where are all of these loudmouth bandits who are always running around looking for sound clips? Why ain't y'all jumping up here? I'm gonna throw the link. Let me throw the link down here and let me see if a bandit want to come up. I want a bandit to come up, and it's only for the bandits. If you're not a bandit and if you come up, you just go stay in a waiting room. That's all, because we don't have time.
So they have to identify as a bandit.
Yeah, no, they have to be a bandit. I want one of these loudmouth CDC report that they haven't even read, toting bandits, to come up here and tell me, if you the most involved fathers, why are you always talking about single mothers? I want to know how the two exist at the same time. Somebody said, I heard the U.S. Census is going to have cohabitation as an option. There has already been numerous studies that came out that said cohabitating families are literally yield the same results as married families. It just is what it is. Marriage obsessed where people can run around and say marriage, marriage, marriage. No, parents living in the same house being functional co-parenting. You don't need the marriage.
Go back to that the functionality of it, because you can be in a married or cohabitating household and render horrible results if that relationship is acrimonious. So I don't know that they should just, they need to caveat that, because otherwise it's just like saying being married or cohabitating is going to render great outcomes for children, and that's not always the case.
I need to find that study, although I did a live stream on that study as well, on the notion, because the study in itself said it's a misconception among married people that if they are married, then that automatically means, number one, they have a commitment, which they do not. And number two, it automatically means that they're in the ideal situation for children to have the best outcome in society. And that is a misconception too. The reality is you can have two cohabitating people and they're going to
like each other. Yeah, and they're not functioning properly.
Yeah, and they're functional. Two cohabitating parents who are functional is going to yield this, and it should be obvious. Because if not, then you're basically saying the piece of paper somehow has an effect on its own, not the effect that you give it. And that piece of paper doesn't have any effect. The relationship is the dynamic, not the piece of paper. You're just entering into a legal contract. We shouldn't even have to say this. Why do we have to say this? We really got to tell people that the legal piece of paper don't do nothing?
You do.
So the legal piece of paper isn't doing anything. The functionality of the relationship is yielding the results. The marriage license is not yielding the results. The two people are. And it's sad. It's too bad. It's too bad. You can call it shacking up. You can call it playing house. You can call it whatever you want to. But at the end of the day, the Shay Show, you can call it whatever you want to. It still yields the same result as married couples. And I'm just going to assume that you must be one of those married obsessed women. As sure as you're a Black woman, is highly likely that you are. So of course you want to try to say, oh, it's shacking up. Everybody's not religious. Everybody's not a Christian. So you can go take your little shacking up words and you can take them to your channel, because at the end of the day, everybody is not a Christian. Everybody does not believe that you need to be married. And whether you want to like it or not, non-married shacking up couples with their kids, they produce the same result that you do in your marriage. And it's likely because they're more likely to be functional. You're less likely to be functional in your marriage based on the marriage statistics, where y'all getting hands put, feet, and everything else put on you. You getting degraded, you getting cheated on, you getting a lot going on. Oh, okay. Sorry, Shay Show. I didn't realize that. Sometimes it's hard to tell with a comment. Is this a bandit? Because if this is not a bandit, I'm gonna have to boot you.
You have to identify as a bandit.
Unknown, do you identify as a bandit?
Yeah.
Okay, so what?
Bring it to the table, honestly.
Because you would be more of a bandita. You would be more of a bandita. Okay? Okay?
I don't agree with you. I don't.
Okay, bye. I have to.
No. Let me talk.
You're not going to come up here and just giggle on the line.
Can I talk?
Say it.
I mean, honestly.
I agree that they're the most involved fathers.
Okay, how are they the most involved fathers and there being an issue with single mothers at the same time?
They compromise. And
no. It's not about a compromise. The two look, you're not gonna troll up here. You're not. You're just not gonna troll. You're not gonna troll. Don't be a goofy bandita like on my line. You're clearly part of the goof troop and I don't have time for it. No one has time for it at all. Okay. But if a bandit want to come up here and tell me, I'll leave the link there. We're going to move on to this Chicago situation. Because listen, Black women, if you don't want to get serious about what's going on, you don't have to, of course. You can choose to continue to birth that which is attempting to destroy you. You can do that as much as you want to. That is your decision, but you will continue to pay for it. This is not the first report that we've had come out that talks about the extent to which Black men are terrorizing Black women and children in the community. If they did this report on every major city that has a high population of Black people, they would likely probably find the same thing. I'm going to play the audio of this news clip. I'm not going to show the video because a lot of news stations will copyright y'all. Like, y'all don't even know what we go through as content creators competing with these news outlets, because they will put a copyright strike on you for showing a news clip. They will. As much as they shouldn't. As much as the Shay Show, that was my bad. I didn't understand what you were actually saying. So that was my bad. I didn't mean to come at you that way. I just didn't know. Because I get so many like marriage, and I want people to understand this. I get so many marriage obsessed women coming into my channel trying to flex. And I want to do that at the sidebar, because we're not going to sit up here and act like I'm just picking on married women because I'm just bitter and jealous and can't get married. And I don't care who married before, who carried. And like, these are some of the things that people say. Somebody said literally, like, listen. Somebody literally said that I'm jealous of another person because they married before they carried. It's like, first of all, I ain't at home, girls, boom. I'm not. So I don't know who carried what before being married to what, I don't know. But these are some of the things that are being said. I don't care who marries before who carries. I don't care how wide open or firmly closed your legs stay. I don't care. I really don't.
Does that have a bearing on your life?
Women, huh?
How would that have a bearing on your life?
I don't know, but this is what some of the people said, that I'm talking bad about marriage because I'm jealous of married Black women and their abusive, toxic, cheating, having the highest rate of STDs for a married women group. They said I'm jealous of them. I can't get married. Some of them have said, you know, it's giving, you can't get married and you want that situation, but you're not in it. So it's like a lot of people say a lot of things, like married people desperately want single people who are statistically happier and more well off than them. They desperately want single women to be like envious of them, even though anybody can get married. Like y'all picking up bums off the corner of MLK and First Street and may turn them to your husband. And I'm just not jealous of that. I'm just like, y'all know, because at the end of the day, any married Black woman's husband is fair game, not because I want him to be fair game, but I already showed y'all the data on who cheat and step out on a marriage is the most. So even the data says your husband is single while you married. So there is absolutely nobody. It's like, find me a person who's been beat on, they money been taken, they've been cheating on, given diseases. Find a person who's not going through that, and then try to somehow say that the person who ain't getting beat on and cheated on is jealous.
Right.
That ain't nothing. But anyway, yeah, but I was saying that to say I didn't pick a fight with married Black women. No, much like how I didn't pick a fight with bandits. Y'all know I came in here actually defending bandits. Bandits picked a fight with me and they lost, and they still trying to get up and recover, and they keep losing. They keep just getting slapped right back down to the nothing ass bitch position that they've been in. But married Black women are the ones who came and picked a fight with me. Married Black women were in my comment section talking about, oh, well, you need to tell them to get married. If we just had more married Black people, that's not even a discussion you need to be having with me. You need to go have that with the bandits who said they ain't get married. Y'all don't need to come in my comment section and tell me that I need to promote marriage and that marriage is the solution. And then when I say, okay, cool, well, let me go look into marriage, and then I come back and tell you this statistically, you're married and miserable and broke and getting cheated on, then you don't get to get mad. You don't get to get mad and say that somebody is jealous when you literally were talking about, I need to promote marriage. Do you think I'm going to promote something without going and looking into it?
Right.
Only a fool would do that. If you're telling me to promote it, I'm going to go look into it. And then when I come back and report on it, and it's saying that y'all getting hands, feet, diseases, baby mama, side families, don't get mad when I come back and report to you the reality of what's going on with your marriages. Don't get mad. And they're mad. But my thing is Black women, you can absolutely... I'm gonna play the audio of this in a minute. This is 9 minutes and 18 seconds. I want Black women to know that, first of all, there are videos. Let me find this TikTok video really quickly so you can hear it. Because you got whole entire videos out here where bandits are talking about toe tagging Black women and that being the only way to deal with them. Let me find it. I gotta find it on here on TikTok where people.
You can look at the DV statistics, domestic violence statistics as well.
We already know that the American BW has to be deleted from this simulation. An entity that willingly commits evil acts and holds itself accountable for nothing will not change for the better. It must be coal. If the goal is to remove evil from the world, or even improve the Black community, the obvious choice would be to erase that source of evil. The American BW's wickedness is being emulated by women of other races. Soon, the ratchet, single mother plague will spread all over the known lands. While we have always recognized the burning hatred BWs have for Black American men, the goal is not to return that hatred. It would be a waste of energy. One doesn't seethe with anger at the mere sight of a cockroach. You simply step on it and carry on with your day. Once the worst has been removed, you will see an emerging of truly feminine, respectful, accountable BWs. These will be American BWs that we could trust with our seed. She will believe in the concept of family, and not mere animalistic, reckless reproduction. No longer will she view children as a financial opportunity. Such valuable American BWs will never be created so long as we have our current stock of vile, putrid trash that spreads destructive behavior to other groups of women. Once we have the families we need, we can build a nation, even a world we can all be proud of. It starts with acknowledging the necessity of removing that which is toxic and devilish, i.e. the American BW. Thanks for listening. I'm Adigan Forrest, and we're introspective Black men of reform.
Hold on, because I want y'all to listen to this again. Keep in mind Black women's response to me saying you need to thin the herd and stop giving birth to that which is trying to destroy you. Because I've been saying that before they put this video out, okay? This ain't the only video like this. And the reason why I'm saying this, because this will give you greater context into what's happening, not just in Chicago, but with Black women in general. See, because while Black women want to run around and play games and say selective mating is too extreme and you're being genocidal and Hitler this and Hitler that, bandits are saying it and they're doing it. They don't have any control of giving birth to you or not, but they can toe tag you if they want to. And they doing it. And they putting out a PSA to other Black men and saying you are the source of evil in the community, comparable to a cockroach, actually. The ones with wings.
I mean, I'm not gonna laugh. Your laugh is contagious.
I'm not gonna laugh either, but that's disgusting. Cockroaches are disgusting. How insulting. But I'm gonna play this again because I want y'all to hear this. I want you to hear this video of these bandits before we go into this news clip, because Black women are playing, Black men are not. And one thing that I've been telling you guys is that Black men may be inconsistent, but what they're very consistent in is saying that they hate Black women and showing that they hate Black women. They're saying they are going to toe tag you and get rid of you, and they are toe tagging you and getting rid of you. They are doing it. So you can run around and play, oh no, we gotta save our Black community, Black else. Yeah, and they targeting you. So now it's you versus them. They've already put you in that situation. It's you versus them, and they winning.
We already know that the American BW has to be deleted from this simulation. An entity that willingly commits evil acts and holds itself accountable for nothing will not change for the better. It must be coal. If the goal is to remove evil from the world, or even improve the Black community, the obvious choice would be to erase that source of evil. The American BW's wickedness is being emulated by women of other races. Soon, the ratchet, single mother plague will spread all over the known lands. While we have always recognized the burning hatred BWs have for Black American men, the goal is not to return that hatred. It would be a waste of energy. One doesn't seethe with anger at the mere sight of a cockroach. You simply step on it and carry on with your day. Once the worst has been removed, you will see an emerging of truly feminine, respectful, accountable BWs. These will be American BWs that we could trust with our seed. She will believe in the concept of family and not mere animalistic, reckless reproduction. No longer will she view children as a financial...
Look, did you hear the way they refer to you giving birth to them? Let me go back on this and let you listen to how they feel about you giving birth to them.
No longer will she view children as a financial opportunity. Such valuable American BWs will never be created so long as we have our current stock of vile.
Hold on.
Depth of family and not mere animalistic, reckless reproduction.
They called you giving birth to them animalistic reproduction. That's what they're referring to you giving birth to them as. So they don't even like that you're giving birth to them. They don't even like it. Y'all choosing to. And in return, these bandits are saying that you need to be deleted. They're deleting you. And that you giving birth to them now is engaging in irresponsible animalistic reproduction. I want y'all to hear it.
And not mere animalistic, reckless reproduction.
Yeah, this is very dangerous.
Once the worst has been removed, you will see an emerging of truly feminine, respectful, accountable BWs. These will be American BWs that we could trust with our seed. She will believe in the concept of family and not mere animalistic, reckless reproduction. No longer will she view children as a financial opportunity. Such valuable American BWs will never be created so long as we have our current stock of vile, putrid trash that spreads destructive behavior to other groups of women. Once we have the families we need, we can build a nation, even a world we can all be proud of. It starts with acknowledging the necessity of removing that which is toxic and devilish, i.e. the American BW.
Right. So they deemed you to be toxic and devilish.
And they
you birthing them is animalistic, reckless reproduction. You're using babies that they're impregnating you with as a financial opportunity, and you are the evil in the community. This is what they are saying.
And can we just also highlight this? And this is what this statement is concerning, particularly to me, because if you look at the statistics on how many Black women have been reported missing, he said that they need to remove the Black woman.
Yep.
Remove her from existence.
Yeah, the American Black woman. They need to remove. But keep in mind, the femicide rate keeps going up. So not only are Black men saying this, but they're doing it. And then because they know that Black women worship them too much to stop birthing them. Black women, they know that most Black women will literally watch them pick off the entire Black female, the population, and they will still sit up there and say, no, Black men love us, even though they're telling you they hate you.
I'm Adigan Forrest, and we are introspective Black men of reform.
This is new audio from that.
So now let y'all listen to this news clip, because y'all can play if you want to. And it's funny how religious Black women think they are, but God is literally showing them in every way, shape, and form why they should stop birthing these bandits, and they still doing it. Listen to this news clip.
Justice in Chicago. The goal is to make the city safer for everyone, but especially for those most impacted by crime.
CBS 2 investigator Dorothy Tucker spotlights a troubling pattern that's been ignored for years, and Dorothy joins us now live.
Well, Jim and Marie, we uncovered some unique facts and figures that revealed for the first time the truth about who criminals are really targeting. It's people who look like me. Our investigation exposes the causes and consequences of Black women at risk. We begin tonight with breaking news. Reports of multiple people shot on the city's west side. It's all we think about.
Multiple suspects walked up to the victim demanding his car.
Our biggest fear. Breaking tonight, 4 teens, 3 15-year-olds and 1 16-year-old, all shot while on a front porch, being the next victim of a crime.
The man stumbled down the Chinatown platform, bleeding from his neck from a gunshot wound.
But what are your chances?
We're not just talking about 1 or 2 robberies here. We're talking dozens of them.
Who's really the most at risk? Is it white men, white women, Asians, Hispanics, black men? No, it's not. It's women who look like Tonia Thomas. It's scary. According to Chicago Police crime data for 2022, when you look at all the offenses, count all the victims, black women are the
Homicide is at the top of it. Hold on, let me go back to all the categories so y'all can see.
Right there in the corner,
Hang on for a second.
right before the stop sign.
Even when it comes to nonviolent crimes and reports where police
Get out of the rush. But primarily because
percent of human traffic thoughts, 38%, because that 67, no, it's not. It's women who look like Tonia Thomas. It's scary. According to Chicago Police crime data for 2022, when you look at
Now, I want y'all to look at this. I will share the screen on this part right here. These are all of the crime right here. These are all of them. Black women are the biggest victims of
all
these.
the offenses, count all the victims, black women are the most at risk.
it's honestly, it's not fair.
Unfair because that 67,000 means 25% of crime victims are black women, but they make up only 16% of Chicago's population. And when the CBS 2 investigators kept digging, we discovered even more disturbing data. Black women represented more than a third of kidnappings, 35% of assault, 38% of batteries, attacked and injured, 40% of rape victims. And let this sink in. Black women are 52% of human trafficking victims. Remember, they're only 16% of the population.
To have to navigate through life knowing that you'll potentially become a victim of a crime, primarily because of your race and your gender combined. It's not fair.
Thomas survived a rape,
This is all the paperwork from the hospital.
but she still feels the pain.
Happened to me, it won't go away.
It happened here, this West Side apartment building, at a friend's party.
I did have a couple of drinks, but nothing too crazy.
Pictures of a happy, smiling Thomas were taken just minutes before she felt dizzy and went to the bathroom. The police report details.
I'm gonna skip past this point, you guys, because this is just focusing on what she went through. I want to get to the data on Black women in general.
But I couldn't get out.
I was parked actually right there in the corner, right before the stop sign.
Even when it comes to nonviolent crimes and reports where police report race, black women,
I couldn't believe it.
like Evelyn Sparks, are targets. Black
I think y'all need to hear that part again, because maybe that one didn't hit home the way it should. But let me let y'all hear that one again.
nonviolent crimes and reports where police report race, black women,
I couldn't believe it.
Even the nonviolent crimes in which the police reports the race of the person, Black women are still the biggest victims.
Targeted.
So you're the biggest victims of crime in general. But the question is always, who's committing these crimes against Black women? The ones, y'all thuns, y'all sons, that's y'all's baby that y'all need to protect. Your baby is out terrorizing other people.
like Evelyn Sparks, are targets. Black women account for 24% of property thefts, arson, 28%, car thefts, 29%. Again, they're only 16% of the population.
You could see it out the window.
A 2019 Kia,
I park there every day.
but in less than 10 minutes, it was gone. Photos of a trashed Kia found by police an hour later.
Somebody that takes something that you work so hard for, it just makes you feel very violated.
Why are they targets? Because they're, if you want to call it easy prey. Yes, yeah.
Geneva Brown is a professor of criminology at DePaul.
One of the things that makes Black women easy prey is their worship of Black men, their unwillingness to report them to the police, the fact that they don't want to take down a bad, they don't want to do nothing to a so-called good Black man. And so you make yourself a victim a bigger target, a weaker target, which is what people are going to go after. You make yourself a bigger target by your unwillingness to call the police on these bandits, by you sitting up there saying you don't want to get a good black man into the system. That's also what's making you a big victim. They may not put it in here, but that's one of the things that make you a big victim too.
University.
We just had an unfortunate Officer Preston who was killed. She was on her way home at 1:40 in the morning, and she was a target of a robber. It's proportionate. Black women are working third shift jobs. Black women are in communities where there is a lack of a middle class, a lack of a economic foundation that would.
That's the educated way of saying y'all live in a hood. You live in a hood.
This type of behavior.
Where they live, when they work, and listen to this, how they are perceived by criminals that are targeted on the backs of Black women.
You know that you're in a neighborhood where crime is the norm and not the exception. You're in a neighborhood where you know that the police are slow to respond. It creates that atmosphere where, unfortunately, you have people who feel empowered.
If I'm the police, I'm going to be slow to respond, knowing that the minute I do something to a bandit, Black women go be all lined up outside City Hall, the police statement, the police station. Black women go be in crowds everywhere screaming Black Lives Matter. And that was my baby. That was my son. I wouldn't respond to you either. I wouldn't respond to Black women either. I wouldn't either. Because at the end of the day, the police is going to respond. A bandit is probably going to resist arrest or something else that's going to lead to him being toe tagged. And then Black women are going to go out in the streets in droves, and you're going to protest, and you go talk about stop and frisk, and you go talk about how they need to be more lenient on these bandits, thereby emboldening them to look at you as the greatest victim. That's why. I wouldn't respond to you either, because the only thing you go do is turn around and cry and protest for the bandit who the police, obviously if the police is interacting with him, somebody done called the police on that bandit. Somebody did. So somebody calling the police on the bandit who running amok, he ain't getting no consequences from nobody in the community, especially Black women. Police toe tag bandit, not saying that they have to, but they choose to. Then here's a group of Black women out here protesting. Then here's another group of Black women screaming Black femicide, and ain't nobody tying it to Black men. And they're going to say, because the police is slow to respond, why are they slow to respond, though? Because all we can do is speculate as to why they're slow to respond.
To become bolder or to continue to commit.
And she's going to say the police being slow to respond makes them bolder. Yeah, but also all of Black women's forgiveness, Black women's advocacy. What did Sukihana just do? Sukihana just sat up there talking about she pro-Black, she loved Black men. So she's going to excuse the fact that a bandit went and tried to force his disgusting tongue down her throat. So Black women, you have to take accountability for this. Like at some point you have to. You have to.
Hello. Hey, how you doing, Cynthia?
Okay, so we got a bandit online. I don't even need to screen for banditry. We already know this is a bandit. Okay, cool. You accept that you're a bandit. Okay, fine. How do you have active fathers and single mothers existing? How do you have a single mother problem in a community where Black men are the most active fathers? How do you have that existing?
Well, a lot of your points I do agree with nowadays, right? I didn't agree with them.
I would just like this one main question.
How do we have? I would say.
I know, but can you not circle the block 10 times before you answer?
Right.
Can you answer the question?
I would say we never not have Black men in the homes. Black men always have been in the homes. They have not. No, they was called stepfathers. Most of us grew up with stepfathers.
No, they weren't. Okay, let me tell you the difference between me and some other people whose panel you might have jumped on. I'm very well versed. I do the research. There was no point in time where Black men in large numbers were ever in the home. They could not even afford to be in the home. So absolutely not. And if you disagree, hold on. If you disagree, find me any data piece that says Black men in large numbers were ever in the home.
Well, here's the thing with that, right? Because a lot of times when those women was getting welfare and stuff,
Sir, they weren't in the
they had to
homes.
make the men leave when
No,
they come and
did not.
visit.
No, they did not. Did you read
I
the man?
grew up in that.
Hold on. Did you read the man out of the home rule? We can pull it up right now.
But what I'm saying is I actually grew up in that, Cynthia.
Okay, I'm asking you, did you read the man out of the home rule?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so you shouldn't be speaking on anything that you haven't read. I have read it. Have you read the Moynihan report?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I have read it. Have you read any research on the history of welfare at all, or what led Black women to be on welfare? Have you read anything? Any research?
I did some look. I watched some little videos on it, but the reason why I think that's moot is like a moot point because
it's not a moot point. It's not. Let me tell you why it's not a moot point. It's not a moot point because you just said Black women use welfare to kick Black men out the home.
Right.
That's a lie. No, we gonna clear that up now. Black women never kicked Black men out the home for welfare.
I don't think studies could show that.
Hold on. Welfare does not kick people out the home. Welfare either terminate benefits or they reinstate benefits. So you either qualify or you don't. So if a Black man was in the home, nobody would come kick him out. They would simply terminate her benefits, which would give the Black man the opportunity to stand up and be the provider that he says he is. So welfare should have never been an issue because if she doesn't get welfare, then you would just step in and provide. However, there's been no time where Black men were providing, and you're not going to run that okie doke on me. I know the truth.
Okay, well, Cynthia, I can speak from my perspective, right, that I actually been through.
I don't want your perspective. I want community data. I want the community
data. Data don't prove data. A lot of this data
proves who's in the home and who ain't in it.
No, a lot of that data that y'all be referencing, a lot of us, they going on stuff that they don't be knowing what's going on in the home.
Data like the CDC that you claim said y'all was the most active fathers, that type data?
I didn't claim that. That's not my point. My talking point.
Okay, so what data is reliable?
The best data is the reliable is the most is the people that talk about their experiences that they actually
and the man ain't nobody about to listen to the experience of no bandit.
So we gotta listen to people that never lived it. Tell us about what goes on in these homes.
Every Black woman every Black woman that I know, and you can poll the chat box, they mama ain't had no daddy in the home, they grandmama haven't had no daddy in the home.
They had stepdaddy.
Absolutely not. Black men.
Majority of the Black people grew up with stepfathers.
Look,
you're not.
Let's just get
but they run around and promote all over the internet that they shouldn't be stepfathers. So if Black men are such,
I don't believe in stepfathers, but that's what we grew up on.
Hold on, can I just address this because this is lunacy. So he wants us to believe that Black men who don't parent their child is willing to go into another one's home and parent her child. And this
it's really sad as hell. I don't advocate for stepfathers. It's sad as hell.
That's
we talk to thousands of Black men every day. Black men and women, we all have stepfathers.
Really?
Majority of us grew up with stepfathers.
We're going to be delusional then.
Look at Shaquille O'Neal.
Unless you're going to provide the data that says most Black people had stepfathers, then stop mentioning it. You don't get to come up here and say stuff. You need to prove it. So find me some data, because if that's the case, it'll be tracked by data. Find me some data that said that we had a large rate of stepfathers. Can you get the data or can you not?
Can I disagree with your points?
You can provide the data to substantiate yours, and then you can disagree with my point. Let me tell you how this works. Hold on. Let me tell you how this works. The way this works is that you say that I am false, and then you provide the data to substantiate it. That's what you do. You say I'm wrong, and you prove me wrong. Because I can say you're wrong, and then I'll prove you wrong.
We're gonna pretend like when those people came to our mom's homes, she didn't make everybody leave until them people left.
Who came into your mom's home?
When my mom and aunties was on welfare, they did a random visits, and she made sure she let everybody else make sure we had to leave. They had to leave.
They don't put people
and come back after them.
No. Even when they did the welfare checks, hold on. Even when they did the welfare checks, they didn't put anybody out the home. They came in, they said, you seem like you have a man here. You don't qualify for welfare.
Isn't that a way of kicking men out?
No, that's like
No,
saying,
no, because then that is the opportunity for you to step up. Then you step up and you be the provider. Why would it kick the man out of the home? You said you're the provider, didn't you? You said you had a better deal than welfare, didn't you? So if she doesn't qualify for welfare, then you qualify as a provider, don't you?
I agree with that.
Right. So if a black woman is being told that because you in the home that she don't qualify for welfare, wouldn't the smart thing to do be that you step up and be the provider then? Wouldn't you just step up and be the provider?
But my thing is this: why is everybody rescuing these women?
Wouldn't
Which
you,
they made that decision.
you don't get to answer my questions
with a
with
broke
the question.
man.
Answer my question. If a black woman in the past got disqualified for welfare because a man was in her home, did that man not have the opportunity to step up as the provider at that point? Yes or no?
Yes and no.
Okay, no, yes is the appropriate answer. He did.
Can I please?
Wait, hold on. Welfare being removed or her being cut off of welfare gives the man the opportunity to step in and be a provider. Why didn't they do it?
But Cynthia, you bullying me to say what you want me to say. What you want me to say.
I'm not bullying you. I'm asking you a very logical question. Okay, let me ask it in a softer tone. Sir, if a woman doesn't qualify,
no, you won't let me get my point out.
Hold on. No, we gonna do this the right way. We gonna get it the right way. And let me get my softer, more submissive voice.
But look, she wouldn't have qualified for benefits in the first place.
Sir.
Providing.
And we also got to remember that the country we live in, slavery and Jim Crow.
If a woman no longer qualified for welfare,
why do y'all sound like black women as victims?
Did that
y'all
not
made up with broke men and gave them babies that come in at the club like victims?
Sir, if a woman doesn't qualify for welfare, doesn't that allow the man to step up as the provider of her home? Yes or no?
Yes, and that also allows her to close her legs.
What does her legs have to do with being on welfare?
Giving babies to y'all called bandits.
Aren't you the one that said, are you not the man who set up on Nyla's panel talking about men nut out babies, fully developed babies? Wasn't that you?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so then why are you talking about her legs? If a man is nutting out a fully developed baby, then her legs don't matter, right?
No, if she birthing babies by men,
her legs don't matter. Exactly, her legs don't matter. So don't sit up here and talk about her legs if you nutting out fully developed babies. You don't gotta. There's no argument on her legs.
No, what? So black women these men just going inside these women to give these men permission to have unprotected sex or nothing. These women just
did she give you? Hold on.
No accountability.
When do the woman give you permission to put your bodily fluids into hers? So because she says, hold on,
scraping up her back.
No,
absolutely wide
not.
Open for a pimp.
Who cares? Her leg. Who cares? Who cares?
Well, you care because if you trying to find a resolution to this problem,
it's still your. Okay, wait. What is the resolution to the problem? What's the resolution to the problem again?
Checking the woman and the man, both of them wrong.
No, wait. So is the resolution to the problem? Do I hear you right? Are you saying the resolution to the problem is for black women to stop giving birth to y'all? It sounds like you want black women to stop giving birth. You said close her legs. Close her legs. So another bandit that came up here and told y'all that y'all should not be giving birth to them. Don't give birth to them.
Black women is not attracted to men that work or go to church. They're attracted to drug dealers, gangsters, and
black men. Exactly. They're attracted to black men. We know who black women are attracted to. They're attracted to black men.
Good black men. Steve Urkel are attracted to them type of dudes. Look how you look.
Who
men like Steve Urkel?
You mean Jaleel White? Steve Urkel is a fictional character. You do know he's not real, right?
Right.
Or are you talking about Jaleel White, the actual real life person? Or are you telling me about a fictitious character? Are you telling me about a fictitious character that does not exist named Steve Urkel that is played by Jaleel White?
I was 50 cents, Cynthia, not a lot of respect for you nowadays. Like nerds.
You told me about Steve Urkel.
Y'all don't like nerds.
I told you. Anyway, you asked me about Steve Urkel. You asked me about a fictitious character. I'm asking you, how do you know what Jaleel White, the actual man, how do you know what type of man he is? Did you date him?
Well, I was giving you the.
Did you date Jaleel White? Did you date Jaleel White?
Of who he portrayed.
Do you date men? Do you date black men?
I never dated no man in my life. Not interested.
Okay, so then if you don't date black men, how are you sitting up here telling black women which ones we should go for? Do you date the nerds?
Do you date black women?
I am a black woman.
You don't know how black women treat us from a man's
I do. I am a black woman. I am a black woman.
But you don't know how we feel when we have to deal with y'all.
I don't care how you feel. Don't deal with us then.
So you want us to care how y'all feel?
No, actually, I don't care how you feel, but you don't control whether I'm birthed or not. So really, you don't have the power. You don't have the power. We do.
Only women I ever dated was black women.
Okay, so then don't date black women no more. If black women don't want to act the way you want them to, then get your raggedy passport and get to stepping.
Actually, black men love black women.
No, by doing what? What do black men do to show love to black women? What do they do?
Well, I know a lot of men.
What do black men do?
Okay, I'm gonna give you what we do. Well, they go to prison for black women, and they in
no, they go to prison because they're committing crimes.
No, when a black woman
they're going to prison because they're committing crimes.
Them niggas and them niggas will pull up.
And where's your data?
Call us into a lot of shit. And
where's your data? Where is your data?
Check the inmate status. And 60% of black men.
No, most of them are in there for drugs. Most black men are in prison for drugs, not doing something that a black woman. No, they're not. They're in prison for drugs. Now, where is your data that says otherwise? Where is your data that says otherwise? Because the FBI report and the Bureau of Crime Statistics says that most black men are in prison because of drugs. Now, find me the data that says they in prison because of a black woman.
I will come back and give you that data.
So you mean to tell me that black men are so remedial and degenerate that they will risk going to jail for a black woman, but they won't even raise their kids so they ain't in child support?
Because those baby daddies didn't even know those women. A lot of us mamas and daddies.
Then how are you on child support? How are you on child support because of a woman that you don't even know? How are you on child support?
Okay, but think about it. If women can delete their babies, men can.
How are you on child support over a woman that you do not know? How?
It's easy. She had the baby. And 9 times out of 10, men told her to get rid of it. She kept the baby to get welfare. Black women did that for years, decades. They still doing it. Mine did it.
Why are you impregnating women? Why are you impregnating women if you don't want a child? Why? Why are you not wearing a condom? Why are you not utilizing a condom? So are you saying, sir,
32 utilize those 32 options of birth control, and she didn't.
There are no 32 options. You sound stupid. You sound dumb. You sound like a idiot. There's only like 8 to 9 birth control options, dummy. There may be 32 different brands, but there are only 7 or 8 options. Genius. So you don't know what you're talking about. Hold on. I'm gonna mute you if you talk over me. I'm gonna mute you. You don't know what you're talking about. There are not 32 options of birth control. Genius. There may be different brands, but the options are the same, and there ain't a lot of them. But what you are essentially saying is that black women need to abort y'all. Do you think I missed the point where you said she could have got an abortion? So you're advocating so black women should be getting abortions, right?
Yeah, she's gonna delete black men and black women.
Actually, she has a right. She doesn't have to delete the black females. She doesn't have to. Black women ain't running around here. Black women ain't impregnating women. Hold on. Are black women impregnating other black women and leaving them single mothers?
No, they are not.
Are black women committing the crimes in the community?
Some, yes, they do more.
No, they are not. No, they are not.
It's way more violent than us.
Why did all the data say you commit the crime then? Are they lying on you and black women really doing it?
Because black women get a slap on the wrist.
No, actually, black women don't get a slap on the wrist.
If the systems treat y'all like they treat us, like they treat us, y'all would commit.
So why does either way, whether they're getting a slap on the wrist or not, they're still being reported. Okay, I'm gonna mute you. Now I'm going to mute you.
Okay.
If black women are getting a slap on the wrist, genius, that still means that they are getting charged for crimes, does it not?
Not necessarily.
Yes. Okay.
Because they don't
So
even
you
get
said
charged.
right, but you get charged for more crimes because you commit more.
Right.
Because you're committing more. Because you're committing more. You're committing more.
Okay,
you're committing more crimes.
I'm conceding with you.
Okay.
Now, what
exactly.
about women that
so now
boys?
Stop talking when talking when I'm talking. Because I'm gonna mute you. Stop talking over me. Black men are the gang members. Black men are the rapists. Black men are the ones running around shooting up neighborhoods. Black men are robbing people. Black men are toe tagging people. Black women are not doing that. So there is no reason for a black woman to abort a female child. There's no reason for her to. You, however, should have been aborted. You could have been a simple abortion. Simple. Your mom had one task and she couldn't even do that. Her one task was go to the clinic and rid the world of a certified, delusional, depraved, degenerate bandit, and she couldn't even do that. Sir, you're more mad at your mother, aren't you? Was your mother?
No, I'm mad at black women who raped us.
Was your mother the
black
same as every other black woman? Was your mother the same as every other black woman, or was she a black woman apart?
She the same, just like the rest of y'all.
Right. So, sir, your problem is with your mother. I'm gonna need you to get off of here and go talk to your mama, because black women ain't no problem. Your mama is. Okay, you need to go deal with their mommy issues. That's what you need to go do.
Black women don't got no accountability.
Your mother should have took accountability. I'm telling you the accountability that your mama should have took. She should have went to the clinic. If your mama would have went to the clinic, then she would have took accountability. Send her to the clinic.
Nothing wrong. Cynthia, y'all never did nothing wrong. It's just black.
Yeah, we did. I'm telling you. You want to know what we did wrong? We gave birth to you.
Right,
exactly. That's where we went wrong.
Birthing you. Wrong by giving y'all our nuts.
Then don't. I'm saying you should keep it to yourself. Don't.
But then, Cynthia, you just complaining that the biracial woman is still in the face of black woman. What you think y'all diverse is going to do when y'all go marry out the white? They're gonna
go find other men that they can listen. Black women simply want to replicate a skin tone. She don't need a black man for that. She can replicate a skin tone with any other group of men. Period. Except white men.
They can't black.
Yes, sure they are. Sure they is.
You sure they are complaining that biracial people is going to be the face of black women.
If a black woman goes and procreates with a Hindu Indian, what is her kid gonna look like?
But it's going to be a win according to you, Cynthia.
It's going to be darker than me and you. It's going to be darker. The correct answer would be that it's going to yield the skin tone that black women want to replicate. We don't need you. You could go take your raggedy poverty peen and your degenerate sperm, and you can go give it to somebody else. We do not need it.
But I created three black women, so they degenerate, right?
Black women's mistake is giving birth to you. And I'm telling black women to be accountable for their decision to give birth to you. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing what I should be doing. I'm doing what I need to do. And I'm telling black women to be accountable.
Because this is a problem. This is a crisis.
It is. It's a crisis.
But Cynthia G, you have said that black men love anything closer to white positivity, right? That's what you said. But yet,
and they do.
When you go divest, it's going to be a win-win for us. Because guess what we're going to make? You're going to create more biracial women to give to black men.
So why you still here? Where's your passport? Why you still here?
I know. I love dark-skinned women.
Do dark-skinned women a favor and stay the hell away from them. You're doing nobody no favors.
And I'm raising 3 of them.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I feel sorry for those kids.
I'm not a bandit.
You are a bandit. You're the quintessential bandit. Your voice is a bandit. You look like a bandit. You sound like a bandit. You engage in bandit behavior. You are a bandit. But when I want black women to know that your mistake is giving birth to this.
I'm raising by myself.
Why would you do that? Why would you put your children in front of thousands of people that they don't know? Why would you do that?
I apologize.
Then
just
you
trying
need
to
to
show a
apologize
better-
for exposing your
How come y'all don't
kids
focus
to
on the black
danger,
men that's
Jesus.
doing-
You're not a
that's doing
good,
the
you're
right
not a
thing,
good
though?
father. You're not a good father. You just put your kids in danger. That's what you just did. Why are you flashing them on a screen in front of thousands of people they don't even know?
Well, I'm sorry about that. That won't happen again.
But the fact
why
that you
not
don't,
focus on the
the
black
fact
men?
that
Why
you
y'all
don't
don't
know
never
that
focus on
other
black men
father
that's
is
trying?
concerning. The fact that you don't know that other father is concerning, and it really makes me suspect that you've exposed them to danger more than one time because you're doing it now, trying to flex. Nobody believes you. We can hear how degenerate you are. We hear it in your words.
But I'm doing my
We can
part,
hear
though.
it. You're
A
not
black man
doing your
his
part.
part.
If you were doing your part, you would pass those kids off to a person who's better
It was the
suited
black
to raise
woman.
them. You are
It's the
not.
black woman is the deadbeats. In my situation.
No, she just didn't want to be tied to your degeneracy. If I was her, I would have dropped your spawns
you
off
gave
and
her a
left too.
pass.
I would have dropped your spawns off and left too. I would have left them where I found them if I was her. Actually, I would have got an abortion. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't have birthed them. I wouldn't have birthed your spawns. I would have aborted them. I would have aborted them if I was her.
Do you got a black son?
I don't, and I surely would not. These eggs will scramble first.
I personally think, Cynthia G, you really love black men.
Anyway, black women, don't stop giving birth to them. I don't love black men. I've said it many times. Are there?
Why are you always talking about them?
I don't love black men, and
if you really
hold on. Let me mute you. Let me mute you because we're gonna get this very, very clear, and I want you to go back and tell your friends too. We're gonna be very clear about this. Go spread the word. I don't love black men. I don't. Y'all are disgusting. You sicken me to my core. And if it were up to me, you wouldn't even exist. That's how I feel about you now. Are there individual black men that I have taken a liking to and still could? Yeah. But do I love black men as a group? Absolutely. Y'all are toxic. You are disgusting. You don't stand for nothing.
We can say a lot about y'all.
Who cares? We
Who
control
raised those
whether
men that
who
you don't
cares?
like?
Who cares? Do you control whether we're birthed into existence or not? You don't.
Yes.
So we don't care what you think.
My
You actually
sperm.
don't. You don't. Your sperm is useless. We already see the remnants of your sperm.
Here.
Your sperm is useless. I got here from my mama's egg. I got here from my mother's egg. I was birthed from my mother's womb, the same place you came from.
The seed.
The egg is the seed.
So you don't got no daddy. You just birthed by your mama.
The mother's egg is the seed. You do not have a seed.
So
you have a fertilizer.
You don't got no dad.
You need to get off the internet and go jump into a biology book because you need to know how babies are created.
Your daddy
you need to know how babies are created, and you clearly do not. You need to get into a biology book and figure out how babies are created because you clearly don't know.
Mother and father. You coming up with some new stuff.
How are babies created?
When dad busts a nut like you've been complaining about, we bust a nut in these women, and the women give birth. Point blank simple.
Yeah, so you don't know how babies are created, so you should not. You shouldn't be up here.
So why you complaining about us being deadbeat?
You don't know how babies are created.
Doing it by yourselves.
You don't know how babies are created. And that's probably why you're too dumb to wear a condom or protect yourself from procreation because you don't even know how procreation starts.
If y'all created life by yourself, why do I need to wear a condom?
Sir, we don't need you here. That's all you need to know.
You don't need us, so you shouldn't be complaining about it.
We don't need you. What we need to do is abort the males who come through our room. Period.
If you do that, you won't be no more black women. You can't exist without a black man.
We'll be fine. No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Black women will still exist. Black women will still exist. I don't think you know how unnecessary and unimportant your genetics actually are.
Done complaining about that's going to be the new face, that biracial woman. That's the new face of black women.
That's only if she chooses. That's if she chooses to have it with the white man. Black women got options.
Telling them to divest to them.
I've never told anybody to divest. I've said you need to go find a better man, regardless to the race.
A different race.
All right, go find a better man. Which would include everybody but bandits, obviously, because they've proven to be the worst men. I don't love y'all.
I can't help that.
Well, you could by being black men. Maybe black men can, maybe they can't help it, but I need you to go tell your friends I don't love black men.
But I do agree with a lot of that stuff that y'all saying.
Listen very clearly to what I'm saying. I don't love y'all. I'm not an ally for y'all. I don't want nothing good for y'all
at all. You gotta talk about black men.
You don't know what came through my womb, dummy. Like, you don't know anything.
So you got a white baby daddy or a black one?
You're an idiot. You just like you don't know about Jaleel White's life and the type of man that he is. You don't know about mine. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You don't even know how children are procreated. You don't even know how they're created. You're just dumb.
By mother and father.
You think first you were saying that men not out fully developed kids, though.
No,
you're
what
dumb.
I said was
get off the internet and first get hooked on phonics and then get hooked on a biology book. That's what you do.
If men stop giving a protest and say, okay, we're not giving y'all no more sperm, you would
then
not
you will be doing
kids.
us a favor. And you will be doing us a favor. We don't want your raggedy.
You will not have no more black women.
Okay, you can believe that if you want to.
When you divest, you're going to eliminate.
All right, okay, bye. Right, bye. Okay, this is how expendable you are. You ain't even. You so expendable. You don't even get to sit up here. What you want, Robert? I'm booting you off in 2 seconds. Going one.
Robert's scared. Robert's scared.
Yeah, because you just gave him the business.
Well, he better get unscared in the next 2 seconds, or he getting booted off. Okay, you bye. Goodbye. Yeah, you don't get to act retarded on here. Like, coming up, just sitting up here.
Really troubling.
Like, bandits are retarded, and this is why they mean nothing to me. They're the nothing ass bitches of society. But I want y'all to see the consistency with which they're saying that you're a problem because you're giving birth to them. This bandit started the discussion saying that you can get an abortion.
There you go. They're telling you what you need to do. So somebody should have gotten an abortion on him. I can't believe he put his children on there like that.
And that's a horrible parent.
And I'm concerned about the fact that his statement about, he feels that way about his mom and all you women, and then he has 2 girls there. I'm like, you're going to he's going to damage those children.
Yes.
Immensely.
He was allowing them to listen to the live stream.
Yeah, but this is the type of damage that Black women are doing, all for the sake of replicating the skin tone. This is a problem. This is a problem.
There's lovely, handsome, dark-skinned Turkish men. Like, go to Germany, go to Canada. Like, come on, Black women need to travel and see what's out there. You can replicating dark skin tone is not hard.
It's really not. And most of those dudes that you go be replicating your skin tone with have a different cultural dynamic. They value fatherhood and they're less likely to abandon you. That bandit right there believes that it's okay because you should have got an abortion. And
like
really,
they can go to the Philippines, like anywhere in Asia. Like, pull up a map and do some research. Melanated people are everywhere. Australia, like Aborigines, there's literally everywhere.
Yep. I think in the climate that we have right now, procreating is just way too dangerous anyway. I just don't see it as an optimal choice for anyone, really. That's
a whole different topic, because trust me, I would say don't have children at all. But if you have that urge and you need to represent or recreate your color, because some people want their kids to be brown, sure, but go global. Don't sit there and limit yourself to American Black men. Like, that is dangerous, and it's toxic. And if you're seeing something fails over and over again, like this dude on your live stream right now, why is he anybody's option?
Yeah,
like, come on now, do better.
I don't know. I wish, and he wants to go prey on dark-skinned Black women. Like I said, dark-skinned Black men think dark-skinned Black women are their punching bags. That's what they think. And it's not a positive thing either. It's not good for a bandit like that to say dark skin. Like that the best thing that bandit can do for dark skinned Black women is stay the hell away from them.
The self-esteem of his daughters is going to be horrible. Like, I feel so sorry for those little girls. CPS needs to step in and right away. Anybody needs to get those little girls away from that man, because they are not going to be healthy mentally, physically, emotionally. They probably aren't. They're not right now, because the fact that he snatched them up and put him on TV.
Yeah, like who does that?
And solely just to, like,
to say he's a good father.
Yeah, and to disparage the mom is what I wanted to say.
V, were you listening in when we played that TikTok video of bandits talking about they need to delete American Black women?
No, I wasn't, but
let me play it again, because there's other people who came in too. This is where the discussion started. I want y'all to listen to what this is saying, because like I said, bandits are consistent in their hatred for Black women and acting on it. Black women are not consistent. And the fact that you are unwilling to stop birthing them is a problem. Listen to this. Oh, wait, what? Oh, hold on. Oh, I switched my microphone, so now I got to switch the speaker. All right, here we go. Because I want you to hear this.
We already know that the American BW has to be deleted from this simulation. An entity that willingly commits evil acts and holds itself accountable for nothing will not change for the better. It must be coal. If the goal is to remove evil from the world, or even improve the Black community, the obvious choice would be to erase that source of evil. The American BW's wickedness is being emulated by women of other races. Soon, the ratchet, single mother plague will spread all over the known lands. While we have always recognized the burning hatred BWs have for Black American men, the goal is not to return that hatred. It would be a waste of energy. One doesn't seethe with anger at the mere sight of a cockroach. You simply step on it and carry on with your day. Once the worst has been removed, you will see an emerging of truly feminine, respectful, accountable BWs. These will be American BWs that we can trust with our seed. She will believe in the concept of family and not mere animalistic, reckless reproduction. No longer will she view children as a financial opportunity. Such valuable American BWs will never be created so long as we have our current stock of vile, putrid trash that spreads destructive behavior to other groups of women. Once we have the families we need, we can build a nation, even a world we can all be proud of. It starts with acknowledging the necessity of removing that which is toxic and devilish, i.e. the American BW. Thanks for listening.
Now, that's a bandit who's talking about killing off Black women and then selectively mating with certain ones that they deem feminine and submissive, whatever that is. Now, I'm thinking they're thinking about going and getting these foreign women, because they've been talking about that too. But whatever the case be, they're saying that they need to delete you, and they're doing it.
Oh yeah, they're definitely doing it. And it is disgusting the amount of Black women that are missing nationally, globally, and the fact that Black women need to be safe, because Black women are getting kidnapped, Black women are being raped, Black women are being abused, and is very scary. But the fact that it's definitely an all-out war against Black women. Like, we're not safe. We are very, very, very unprotected, like to an extreme level. And I don't think that we are understanding the level of that we're at right now. We don't understand it, or we don't want to recognize it.
Yeah, no, they don't. And this isn't the first message I've heard where you have a Black man talking about the need to get. Yeah, I've seen and heard many more. And it's like they're doing it.
Yeah, I thought you were going to show me a different video that I've actually seen before as well, where it was more of a podcast of them saying that they needed to eradicate Black women.
Oh, I think you might be. Let me see, because I think I might know which one you're talking about. Hold on, give me a second to find it, because I think I might know which one you're talking about. Where there's a bandit on there talking about Black women are the enemy.
Yeah, and I don't think that Black women understand that the more you try to placate to Black men and say, oh, we'll do this, and if we just become super submissive and lay ourselves at the mercy of your feet. And I think you may have saw that video where other countries of Black women where the Black women are very submissive, and they're, you know, where they cover their faces and they wear the clothes, and Black men are throwing acid on their face. You can be as submissive as you want to. You need to stand your ground and show that you have self-respect and you have self-love. There is nothing that you're going to be able to do in the submissive level and laying yourself down and saying, I don't love myself and I don't have self-respect and I don't have boundaries and standards that is going to protect you. You're going to become like lambs to a slaughter. This is not okay. This is not safe. If you don't divest, if you don't open up yourself, and I'm so tired of hearing women say, oh, just, you know, become, I don't remember the word, but when you just like don't have any kind of relationship, or just like it always ends up being the woman that needs to murder herself and punish herself somehow and just be alone, and that's not okay. No, you don't need to do that. You need to try to live your best life and have the standards and the boundaries and expectations, and don't. You are not the monster. You are not the problem. They are the problem. And I wasn't even introduced like to this world. Like when I'm just like, I literally don't even like, and this is the first time like
V, are you talking about this one? I think I found it. Hold on. Let me see. Are you talking about this one?
Out of her purpose, and she's not a helpmeet no more. She's the enemy. She's more of an enemy than the white man ever has. She's more of an enemy than anybody in history has ever been to the Black community, because she's the very person that comes in with deceit and looks to use you and then disperse of you when she's done with you. And then she'll move on when it's all said and done, and then say, well, what about the kids? Fuck them kids and fuck that woman too.
Yeah.
Monster. Throw the baby out with the bathwater, start the fuck over, get a whole new group of women, and then fix the community that way.
And look, I know I want y'all to see. Look at while he's saying this, look at the expressions on their face and how comfortable these Black women are as he's saying this, because that's what's really disturbing.
Yeah, no one checks him.
She's out of her purpose.
Like, look at
help me no more. She's the enemy. She's more of an enemy than the white man ever had.
And you see these men checking.
Anybody in history has ever.
You know, he's agreeing with them. The man of them have a problem with him saying this.
First of you when she.
No, look at man in green and shaking his head. Yes.
Yeah, these two dudes are in agreement, which obviously. But look at the women. The women are just sitting there not saying anything. She had the grin on her face. You can tell she doesn't like it. You can tell she don't like it. She's comfortable. And she's smiling.
Yeah, that was the one that I thought you were gonna play. And when I watched that, I was just like, because I'm honestly, you know what I'm saying, I've never like really been in this world with like dating them and stuff like that, and not purposeful really, or like cognitively aware of why I wasn't. But when I started looking at this, I'm like, this is not something that I had any knowledge of. I didn't even know that this attitude was out there. And I don't understand how Black women can even be in such a hostile environment and still feel the need to lay their bodies down and march and protect. Like for me, like the marching and protecting and feeling like, you know, the let's protect Black men. It's like, okay, there are babies and our brothers and stuff like that. But seeing this, they're like, no.
This dangerous.
No.
And it is very dangerous. Do you hear the hatred in his voice? I mean, to me, this is very scary, because I feel like even seeing the women on the panel there, it's like they are, you know, frogs in water, where it's like you're in the
that is Black women
so long that you don't recognize the danger until it's too late. Because to even be sitting on a panel with someone who is generating that amount of animosity and hatred, and I couldn't even sit on the panel with someone like that. To me, and it's concerning to me, to be honest, that someone could spew that dangerous rhetoric right? And that level of hatred and not even be like, he should be arrested, in my opinion. That's someone who should be, that is a danger to society. That is a danger because he's putting out a call to other Black people.
And, but he's married to a Black woman and has some Black kids.
But that's the problem. But for someone to even be able to say these things and to have like if you hear his voice, like he's serious. Like this is a dangerous person. This is like this is a lethal weapon out there waiting to if he's not already caused an enormous amount of danger to women already, and I mean like if he has committed crimes already against women, he is literally I don't even believe that he hasn't.
Let his wife try to divorce him.
That's someone you stay away from, right? That is a danger. Like he shouldn't even be allowed to be speaking that way. But
and that's how you get. And that's how you get this. That's how you got outcomes like this, where Black men are sitting up telling them to delete Black women. And then you have a report coming up in Chicago where Black women are the biggest victims of all of these crimes.
Well, and then the thing is, remember Sam, when I had my channel up like maybe it was like 7 or 8 years ago, and my whole channel was against white supremacy, and I was like all against it, and Black male empowerment and all of this stuff, and I would just get attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked by Black men, and I didn't understand that, and I was just like, okay, it got so hard that I literally stopped doing my channel because it was so stressful, and I didn't understand the trolling, but now you see them saying, like white supremacy isn't our problem, that Black women are our problem. So why are Black women still marching for them against white supremacy? Stop doing that. They're telling you this is not our problem. We don't have a problem with it. You're our problem.
Yeah.
So Robert is back. He said he's here to chat, but he needs to connect to the audio.
If this is the brainless one, I can't tolerate it.
It's not. That was Dusty James.
Because that messed up my psyche. Like I really have to recover from that kind of conversation. I don't understand how people like that exist, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's how Black men are putting in the work. And then when I come say, well, we should perhaps stop giving birth to the bandits who are putting out PSAs to toe tag you and who are terrorizing you and committing crimes against you, I'm told I'm crazy. I'm told I'm committing genocide. They're literally in a video talking about committing genocide against you. Literally. In that video, they are putting a call out to commit genocide against you in every sense of the word.
And this is why I say that we need to be paying attention, because we are some of the problem, because he's married to a Black woman. That's crazy to me. This dude has Black children by a Black woman, and his preference is dark-skinned Black women who he seems to have options with. Problem. Like we really need, we're not protecting ourselves. And that's when you're tying yourself to someone who hates you. And I say tying, I mean like you're having a child with someone who hates you. That's a problem. That is a real problem. And I say it's a problem for you because it's like it puts you in danger. It puts your life in danger. And the outcome of that is not going to be good for your psyche at all. It's like it's a problem. So
we had Robert here. I don't know, Robert, if you're still struggling with your audio, but my patience is wearing thin. Like we literally don't have time for you to. Okay, now you connected to your audio. You can come in, and you said you wanted to chat. What's up? I've been patient up until now. And now, you just go out to type your messages into the chat box, because obviously I don't know why you don't know how to connect to the audio. It's quite simple, actually. You just hit that little speaker icon and it just connects you.
He got struggle Wi-Fi.
Are you here, Robert? Did you get connected to the audio? Because I'm going to bump you off in a minute. Okay, yeah, sorry, you got to go. Because at this point, now it's like taken from the actual discussion. So you just unfortunately had to go. Hold on, I'm just texting.
I feel like this is a problem, though.
And this is a problem, and Black women don't realize that these bandits are forcing you into a position where you either need to choose yourself or choose them. And unfortunately, it appears that Black women are choosing them, by and large. Did we freeze up?